Hello and welcome to the Blue Line Virtual Symposium 2020. My name is Boris Milinkovic and I am the CEO and Training Director at True North Tradecraft. So what I'd like to talk to you about now is one of the other avenues which we instruct on and which we teach, and that would be counter custody and restraint escape. So focusing on how to overcome and self-rescue from having restraints put on you illegally. So anything from duct tape, zip ties, handcuffs, and rope. And what we do is we look at it from an officer safety standpoint. So we teach a package that's for the civilian world, that's open enrollment, more of a personal protection, self-defense angle, but we also have a military law enforcement restricted package. So some of the methods are that we keep close to us, and it's restricted for that audience alone. In that, I'm going to focus on that specifically. What we do is we focus on the officer safety. So what happens when we have tried to avoid a violent confrontation? So the situational awareness and behavioral analysis have failed us. And then we found ourselves in a situation of violence, a confrontation, and altercation. And then there's the third. What happens when that has not worked and we have found ourselves with our restraints used against us, or someone has gotten the jump on us and put our own restraints on us? So the goal there is to understand the mechanics that are used in the development of those restraints, how they're applied, what their weaknesses are, and how to exploit those weaknesses, thereby giving us a chance to self-rescue. Now, one of the issues that has been called out on this is, why would I be teaching people to get out of restraints? Fair enough, fair question. But most of the stuff that I teach on the civilian side of things is open source material. On the restricted law enforcement and military side, we specifically focus on stuff that is not available in the public realm and giving you a chance to get out of those restraints. The second side of it is having that strong understanding of the strengths of each of those restraints. So what if you're in a public order unit using zip ties or flexible restraints or one-time restraints? What are their strengths, but also what their limitations are? And it's important to have that understanding from that officer safety standpoint, because if you don't understand what the limitations are, you're going to forget that you're still at risk. All restraints are temporary because they're designed to come off at some point. There is the inherent weakness, and that's what we focus on. So how and why they work and how and why they don't work, and showing how those are exploited. So for instance, with handcuffs, knowing what those weaknesses are and putting that dovetailed into your use of force training will allow you to better apply those restraints, understand what those limitations are, and being able to then keep an eye on what the person in custody is actually able to do, or what the possibilities are. And that is important. If you're working in a custody situation where you're in a high security facility, mental health, corrections, courts, anything like that, understanding that taking a paperclip will allow your searches to be more in-depth, knowing that the person in cuffs only needs something really innocuous that would then compromise those restraints. The same thing goes with public order units. If you're putting people in restraints, understanding that those have limitations, and we would show you what they are. Now, again, if you're in a situation where you are working undercover, tactical, detectives, plainclothes of various kinds, and you find yourself in a situation where restraints have been used against you and now you're in danger, we're going to show you how to use both manufactured and field expedient tools and how to fashion them to get out of those restraints, to self-rescue and survive through it. Then there's a process for that, and we can share all that with you. So this is important for increasing officer safety and having that understanding, knowing when you apply restraints onto somebody and you've effected an arrest, what you're actually dealing with as far as a risk factor, and understanding that there are limitations to those restraints. Anything mechanical can and will break eventually, but knowing that there are design flaws, and what those design flaws are very key components of your understanding of use of force, restraint technology, having transportation of prisoners, and being able to stay safe all the time. So quick example, pair of Smith & Wesson 100s, okay? Now, not always gonna be able to do things properly, but here's a very quick example. So here I am, nice and tight. I'm gonna be able to deal with this very quickly without a key. Now, the simple reality is that there's one cuff gone, and there's a second cuff gone, okay? Simple reality is that somebody that's been arrested, if you haven't done your search properly, they're out. That was pretty quick, just a couple seconds. And sure, it was single locked, and sure, it was in front of me, but someone who's practiced about this, double locked handcuff behind their back, you're looking at maybe a few extra seconds. And if they're very determined, you may now be surprised by someone you've thrown in the back of your car that was cuffed, and as you're taking them out, currently doesn't have cuffs, has those cuffs in their hand, now has a weapon, and is free. And being able to spot the signs of how someone's taking them off and what to look for in their search is a key to that officer's safety. Again, we do open civilian content enrollment courses, but at the same time, we are open to contracting for various agencies to teach restricted material in both 1 and 2 day formats for your people. Feel free to reach out to us at info@truenorthtradecraft.ca, or come to the website truenorthtradecraft.ca. We're also on Instagram and Facebook at True North Tradecraft. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I'm Boris Milinkovic from True North Tradecraft. Enjoy the Blue Line Symposium and stay safe out there.